Hello and welcome to Healthy, Wealthy, Wow. We're here to share products and services for your health, wealth, and wow. My name's Sue Morgan and I'm sitting in with Kim Power Stilson. And today we have Karen Grant here with us, and she is Cherishing Place and a joy coach. Karen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm happy to be here, and this will be fun. Sue just got thrown into this whole situation, so this is going to be a lot of fun, Sue.
This will be fun, Karen. Let's walk each other through it.
That's right. Well, I am Karen Grant, and I have a business called the Cherishing Place, which I have just moved out behind the Provo Temple. It overlooks Utah Valley and has a gorgeous view. It's a retreat for women, and it's a place where they can come and be rejuvenated, an hour of peace and rest, or an hour and a half or two. I have with me my assistant, Linda Hart, who is an excellent asset to me in this business, keeping everything flowing with phone calls and sessions. I do vibrational attunement massage therapy, and I'm the only one in Utah doing that at this time. It's
what exactly is that, since I'm not quite familiar with that?
Okay, vibrational attunement massage therapy. 5 years ago, I got my little degree in massage therapy, and last summer went to Montana to get certified in vibrational attunement and got transducers and speakers put on the bottom of the massage table so that the client wears headphones and the therapist wears headphones. The table is vibrating, pulsing in time to the music. The deep bass notes are going right into every cell of the body. It's very relaxing and very rejuvenating. And Kim just walked in. Yay!
Welcome, Kim. We're so glad you're here to join us.
I need a massage now. Well, definitely Sue's going to need
Yeah,
one.
I'm saying, sign me up, please, right away.
Oh.
Well, we're so glad you're here, Kim.
Karen was just telling me about her business, and she does this vibration therapy that just sounds phenomenal. Do you get to pick out what type of music, or do you use?
Yes, I do, and I
She
kind
sings,
of
too.
gear to the client. I start out usually really relaxing, and that just helps to slow down the central nervous system and get them in a theta state, so that they are just ready to receive. And I intermingle the different kinds of therapies, craniosacral, which is just totally relaxing to the mind, letting the mind release stress and tension, along with Swedish massage, effleurage, that kind of massage. But what is different about vibrational attunement, it's like the body becomes a musical instrument, and because we are connected with acupressure points, every stroke looks like you're playing the violin, doing that vibrational stroke on it. And
Does it tickle? Because she would be laughing.
Yeah, and then I'd be a nervous wreck because I'd be so tense from the tickling.
Well, depending on the pressure, the reason the body registers something as tickling is because the nerve endings aren't sure whether or not you're putting enough pressure or too much pressure, and it's like the nerve endings are confused. So if somebody is tickled by it, then I just apply a little more pressure. But it is the most relaxing, fun kind of therapy. And Kim, I was telling Sue that we just moved behind the Provo Temple. We are the furthest east that we can go. You walk out of my house, and there is the mountain right in front of you.
Well, this is your home.
Yes, and I do this in my
Nice.
home, and then the deck goes all the way around the entire house and overlooks Utah Valley, the lake. It is gorgeous.
Oh.
It's a woman's retreat.
So I'm out on the deck getting my massage.
And that's the next thing, is getting a massage table to do deck massage. My mother went to Hawaii once, and she said her favorite massage was on a deck in Hawaii with the only music was wind chimes and this fluttering breeze just floating across her back. So that's what I'm bringing to Provo, Utah, is come on the deck and overlook the valley and listen to the wind chimes, and that would not be vibrational attunement because the table would not have that particular table wouldn't have the speakers in it. But so there'll be a couple different kinds, and it's just my whole goal is to provide an outlet for mothers, wives, women who are so busy nurturing and giving and sharing with their families, their husbands, their communities, to give them that hour of peace and rest.
Well, it seems like it would help balance them for other parts of their lives because women do have the stress continually in their lives as they're feeding the kids spiritually, emotionally, and physically, as well as their husbands. To have that time to take off for themselves and feel rejuvenated, I just can't imagine anything that would be better fulfilling for a woman.
It is, and to use all five senses, I think that's what makes this therapy a little bit different. Incorporating, I have a line of essential oils called Sense of Peace. That's SCENTS, Sense of Peace, musical and aromatherapy duets. I've written songs that are the titles of the oils. So like there's a little Magic Kisses oil and a Magic Kisses song. And so as you're breathing in the oil, you're implementing the intention of the song, which is to heal the heart of, little hidden wounds, and other oils called Childlike Faith and Forgiving Heart and Sweet Surrender. And it's so fun because the oils go
Might
up.
melt onto her table and not be able to
It's so
go
fun.
home.
Well, I was kind of wondering if the little kisses were like the chocolate kisses, and
Yes,
you could
we
add
do
the
have-
chocolate scent along, because I'm thinking there would be nothing. So physically, you're being fed by our chocolate a day that we're safe to have.
That's right, and I do chocolate therapy with
Ooh.
the raw chocolate that's sweetened with agave nectar. So we have that too.
Do you do Mr. Goodbar chocolate recipe?
I don't. I don't do that.
That's Sue's favorite candy bar.
It
apparently.
is.
And
It really is.
I don't even know where you could find, because I looked everywhere and people are like, what are you
They're
talking
everywhere
about?
in the grocery store.
They
You
are
can even
not.
get the jumbo ones. They're there. I promise.
Really?
Smith's has them.
Well, I
Well, it's
tried.
aromatherapy. That chocolate is the best.
Less
There's no-
calories.
So, okay, is this something that children could do?
Yes,
And do they sit still for that?
They do. They love it. I have got some little clients who come in, and Kim, you know that I write lullabies and call it the Lullaby Connection.
I see them at Laura's store. I always want to buy all of them because I just want to have a nap.
They're for mothers too. Really, honestly, there's not one of us that doesn't have a little inner child that needs to be lullabied. And what's so much fun is tucking in women and giving them lullabies, because women are the nurturers.
Yeah.
And yet we get so exhausted and need that pampering time. So it is just my joy and delight to do this for my sisters. So I love it. I grew up in a family full of women, so it's just very natural for me.
And are you still very close, you and your sisters?
My sister Kit lives in Provo. Kim lives in Provo. My mother lives in Provo. I'm now within a couple of miles of all of them since I moved this last week. We've just finished a 15-day trek from Lehigh to Provo so that we could have this bigger home, a bigger location to do this work in.
Wow. Well, that's
It's
wonderful.
really a lot of fun.
From Lehigh to Provo.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yes, I had just finished the Dr. Emoto conference.
And that's in Utah, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had just finished bringing Dr. Emoto, Masaru Emoto, here for a big conference. And he believes that the body is 78% water, and that you can program water with music and with words. And so he came to Utah and did a big, beautiful conference. So I met a woman who said, I'm here from Oregon to go to this conference and rent my home behind the Provo Temple. So I grabbed it and we started moving.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
it's been a huge month, but
Wow.
really
So you
fun.
connected with that woman at the conference.
Yes, and
How interesting.
It's really interesting because we talk about the law of attraction, and we talk about manifesting the things we need to further our work. And for the months before I met her, I would stand on my doorstep and say to the universe, if it's all the same to you, God, I need a bigger living room with more leg room for these women that come into to our cherishing circles. And this house has room for 30 people in a workshop, and the deck, it just overlooks the valley, and just gorgeous.
Serene setting.
And it's less expensive than the house I was living in and twice the size. So that's manifesting.
Wow.
I love it. I love that we can claim what we need to do our work for each other.
That's a definite wow here today.
Well, yeah. And speaking of, Sue, for listeners who are going, okay, Sue, we heard her once last week, and now she's hosting the show on her own.
All by herself, mind you, without Kim here at the beginning.
Oh, and I'm upstairs going, when's Sue coming? And then someone goes, it's noon and your show started. So talk about, universe. The universe had me on pause today, I guess. Well, we haven't seen each other for
16 and a half years till a week ago.
Wow.
And it was just so fun because I lived in Highland until about 6 months ago, and she lives in Cedar Hills and has for 3 years.
Well, and to go back, we were best friends 17 years ago. We were both maid of honors
20,
at each
yeah.
other's
Weddings,
weddings,
yeah.
and we
gosh.
lost track of each other. So it was just one of those strange things. I felt this passion. All of a sudden, I had to find her. And if anybody out there has ever had a moment where you don't know why you have to find somebody, you just have to find them, it was that moment. And it has been a blast in the last week. I can't
is
tell you.
so
It's just
fun.
been
Well, get what we're doing.
unbelievable.
We haven't seen each other for 16.5 years, right? Our kids are, a little older now. Sue's kids are older. 'Cause
Really
she
big.
started sooner than I did. Yeah. In fact, Erica, her daughter, is now helping to produce our show, which is fabulous. And now we're going to Europe for 2 weeks in September. The
That
ticket's
is a
booked.
wow.
That's
I
a
know.
wow.
So, but the funny thing for me is I was just thinking about when you were saying that, and I've been thinking about you a lot lately, by the way, but I was, every year we go to Europe, every year as a family, and the prices are so expensive this year, and my kids all have camps, and they didn't want to miss school again. My kids are like, I don't want to miss school. What kid says I don't want to miss school because I don't want to go to Europe so I won't miss school? I mean, it's odd.
I know my children would dump everything to go to Europe,
Europe.
and they're not happy that I'm going without them, but that's okay.
Well, and I mean, my kids last year went, they missed school, so they don't want to. And I kept telling my husband, I want to book my tickets, my annual tickets, but I don't feel right about it. I don't feel right about it. And whammo, she calls me, and all of a sudden it feels right. It's perfectly in the right place. And, it's funny because you do kind of say that. And for all of you listeners out there who think about that, if you do want something, there's nothing wrong with what Karen said. Stand on your front porch or, kneel by your bed or whatever it is you do and say, okay, if it's all the same to you, God.
And that's exactly
I
what
want to see my
say.
old friends so we can go to Europe, or I want someone to go to Europe with, or I want, I need a good friend in my life again, or whatever, I want a bigger business, or I want to know how to reach my children, or I'm lonely, whatever. It's all the same to you. Help me out. I mean,
It's
it
true.
works, right?
It does work. I just went and spoke to the chain breakers. You know the chain
Yes.
breakers with Joan Shippen, to the women who have been the victims of domestic violence and abuse. And it was so fun to go and speak to them and share with them Susie Orman's work about how she was just this little waitress at 29. She had her college degree, making $400 a month, serving coffee, and still content to work there month after month, $400, until one day she decided she wanted to own a restaurant. And so she called her mom and said, I need $20,000 for a down payment to start my restaurant business. And her mother said, how do you know that we don't have the power to do that for any of our children? And so she was feeling bad. And the next day she was pouring coffee for one of her, one of the customers that she'd been pouring coffee for 6 years. And he said, you're not looking very cheery today, Sunshine. What's the problem? And she said, well, I feel really bad. I asked my mom for $20,000 and it was the wrong thing to do. And he said, what do you want it for? And that is the key. What do you want it for? To be specific with why we want what we want. And she said, I want it because I want to have my own restaurant. I'm tired of working in a little coffee shop with a college degree at 29 years old. And that man went around the coffee shop and came back at the end of the day with $50,000 in bank notes, promissory notes, checks, and cash. And he's with a note from the people in the coffee shop that said, this is to be paid back in 10 years without interest if you can. But it is for people like you who dare to dream a bigger dream. And I was so inspired by that's when I started saying, I have a righteous desire. And it is, I know how tired women get. I know how exhausted and fatigued and how nurturing they are just from my business of being able to minister to those needs when they're on the massage table. And so I started saying, I need a bigger place. And I'm single again. And so I can't afford that bigger place to purchase it on my own right now.
Or so you thought.
Or so I thought. But is there a way to still manifest that? And lo and behold, there it was. And less expensive than what I was living in. I needed more room to be able to expand that business. And so I just am a firm believer in talking to the chain breakers women and giving them permission to have joy. That just because a husband or a child, a teenager has made a choice that usually women, when our son or our daughter or our husband makes a choice that affects our joy, we plummet and start spiraling down into depression. And if you interview women all day long like I do, and you find out what is causing this unhappiness, it's usually not about them. It's usually the sorrow that they're feeling about somebody else that they love, one of their most primary stewardship's choices. So to talk to these women and say, in spite of their choices, my husband chose to leave 2 months ago. A woman showed up on my doorstep and told me that the man that I'd been married to for 1 year was her common law marriage of 11 years, and took him away 2 months ago. And it was an unbelievable moment in my life when I again spoke out into the universe and said, what did I do to attract this? Is this my fault?
No, it's not your fault.
But a lot of times people reading The Secret, because the primary emphasis has been on what did you do to attract that? And, I think that there is opposition in all things, and people still have agency. And my husband chose to have an affair, and it turned out it wasn't just with one woman, it was with two. So
you're one of them, right?
Oh, no.
No, affair.
An affair.
Well, I mean, he had a common law marriage, so wasn't she the wife and you were the affair?
Common law doesn't have the legal.
Yeah, it's not
paperwork.
a legal thing. They were never legally married. And that's what she chose to call.
So the affair was with her.
Right.
For 11 years. And then he married me. And then a couple of days later, another woman shows up and calls and says, where's Joseph? And I said, you missed him. He's gone. And she had been having an affair with him, too. So I had two affairs I was dealing with. And I'm supposedly a joy coach. And I'm sitting there going, what am I supposed to learn from this? And the thought came, practice what you preach. You're sitting there telling women that they can claim joy and have joy anyway, even if somebody else's choices are plummeting them down. And it was an amazing experience to be able to release that sorrow and move through that grief as quickly as possible and shift from the anger into, I gracefully accept his choices, and God has a bigger and better plan for me.
Well, obviously.
And he did. Within a month, I've moved, and I think that so many times we wallow in somebody else's choices and the symptoms of other people's choices.
Bad things happen to good people. It's ludicrous when people say they brought it on themselves or they did this, because within a moment, anybody's life could change.
And it doesn't mean you attracted the negativity.
No, it doesn't. It's just, it happens. And we progress through this life because of trials that we have. If we had no trials, there is no progression.
It's the law of opposition.
Exactly.
So there's more than one law in the universe. The law of attraction is definitely one of those laws. But then there's the law of agency. People make choices that affect our joy. We determine how long we're going to wallow in the sadness of their choices. There's also the law of opposition. And so being a joy coach is a self-claimed identity, so to speak, because I wanted to claim joy.
Well, now we know you know how to do it, so we would trust you.
Well, I can tell you, I love life, and I have reclaimed my passions and my emotions, and
you look even more beautiful than the last time I saw you.
You're so sweet.
You've never met her before.
I've never met her, but you are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I think the stress is gone because woman's intuition tells you something's wrong.
Yes.
And when you know something's wrong, it hurts when someone's denying that something's wrong and telling you, why would you possibly think that? Yet my woman's intuition was telling me something was wrong. The day before he left, I prayed and said, please bring me concrete evidence that something is wrong. And I was delivered that on my doorstep the next day, and I was able to embrace that woman and thank her for showing up in my life. And it really was the truth that set me free. And then I could be on with joy.
Huh?
I was going to say, I don't think I would have embraced her. I think I would have done something else, but still grateful for the truth.
That's why she's a joy coach, not you.
So grateful for the truth.
I have some anger issues.
Or you would. Karen Grant, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can we find your CDs? Where can we buy them for those listening outside the country and all across the nation?
Well, I would like to be able to offer them through www.grapevine.com if there's a
grapevineradio.com.
Grapevineradio.com if there's a way to do that.
Oh, great.
Right now, they can write me at Karen, KarynLynn Grant, KarynLynnGrant@gmail.com, or go to www.cherishingplace.com.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, this is Karen Grant, cherishingplace.com. You're listening to Healthy, Wealthy, Wow on the Grapevine Talk Radio Network. Please stay tuned. We have some great guests coming up. We'll be right back after this brief commercial break. From Healthy, Wealthy, Wow and the Grapevine Talk Radio Network, here's a thought for the day. Procrastination is a silly thing. It only makes me sorrow, but I can change it anytime. I think I will tomorrow. Keep listening to the Grapevine Talk Radio Network.
Here's your life change tip for today. This week, I encourage each of you to consider the great and beautiful things in your life. I had the opportunity to hear Mariama Cologne, a woman from Sierra Leone, South Africa, about getting out of that war-torn country, and it was riveting. She spoke of waking up and praying first to see the sun tomorrow. They slept with babies tied on their backs, with people taking turns keeping watch for the rebels. She saw her sister's legs cut off by the rebels, who routinely maimed people with machetes. She heard the gunshots behind her that killed her parents, as she and her other sister had to keep running, and spoke of the miracle of her being alive, of coming to America, and of the life she has been blessed to secure for herself and her surviving little sister. We have been blessed with so much, and it wouldn't hurt any of us to take a minute to breathe and absorb the joy and the beauty before us each day. I'm Connie Sokol for Life Change. For free weekly life tips, sign up at www.lifechangeprogram.com or call 787-4910. Are you ready for a life change?
Welcome back to Healthy, Wealthy, Wow. Kim and Susan Brown Morgan is here hosting for her very first time today. Second time on the radio. You having fun?
Second time. I'm having a blast. But Kim, can I take one moment out? It happens to be my husband's birthday today.
Oh, yes.
And so I would like to do a shout out to my husband to say, happy birthday, honey. Love you. And now you're 45 years old. You're on the other side of the hill, babe.
Well, not yet. He's teetering, right?
No, he's one day over it.
Oh, okay. Hey, we ought to prank call him later.
We should.
Okay, at the next commercial break, the engineer will get his number, Brent, and we'll prank call him and wish him happy birthday.
Ask Erica for the number. She'll have it.
Okay. All right. So, thank you for being here today.
Anything for you, honey. I love you. You know that.
Not much after day, probably, right?
No, I still do.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, this is Sue, my good friend from 20 plus years ago. We were bridesmaids or maids of honor at each other's weddings, and recently reconnected after 16 and a half years. Kids, travails, triumphs, probably. We haven't even caught up yet.
We haven't caught up on all that, but I'm sure through our trip to Europe this summer, we'll be catching up.
And no one's allowed to come with us. We're just going, her and I. All right. Well, I guess if you want to pay, you could come.
No, it's just you and I. Okay. Sorry, we'll be selfish on this one.
I know. I've already had offers for people that would love to join us, but next time we'll do a mass trip.
We'll do it next year.
All right. We are excited to have next on our Wealthy Living segment, Jennifer Kaleba. I'm not, she's going to have to tell me her name. Do you think that's right?
I think that's right.
Now, she's the Director of Communications at the Rails to Trails Conservancy and an editor-in-chief of their quarterly membership magazine, Rails to Trails. With Rails to Trails since 2003, Jennifer has visited 34 Rails to Trails and counting across the country. Now, we had recently Cal from Earthshare on the radio. He talked about Rails to Trails and how they convert old railway trails to trails for kids and families.
Oh, great, because I was actually just wondering what the Rails to Trails was.
Well, we had him on a couple weeks ago, and people were calling like crazy to find out more about how they could help with this. And so we asked Jennifer to join us. Jennifer, are you there?
I am.
Hi,
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Susan.
Well, okay, so tell us, you've been with them since 2003. Tell us all about, and our listeners, all about Rails to Trails.
Sure. That's kind of a tall order, but I'll start from the beginning. First with the concept, I think, I'm not sure what Susan or Kim, one of you was wondering about what, rail trails are all about. And these are essentially unused railroad corridors around the country that people looked at and said these would be perfect opportunities to put a trail down and to, keep that as a public transportation corridor for recreation, getting fit, getting healthy, fun with the family. And at present, there are more than 1,400 open rail trails around the country. And that's 13,505 miles of trail for people to use every day.
Say that again.
13,505 miles of trail.
I would be really thin if I'd walk that.
Yes, are there fast food places along the way?
Quite the journey. And the thing about rail trails is that they're safe, easy walking places because they follow the railroad grade. And these trains weren't going up monster hills without doing some zigzagging if they were. So these are great places to kickstart a new healthy lifestyle, or get your family out there, teach your kids to ride a bike. It's really a wonderful asset for these communities. And we've been around since 1986. The Rails to Trails Conservancy has.
Now, so how did you get involved with them?
I guess it was probably a year earlier. My husband, I guess boyfriend at the time, bought a rail trail book because we had lamented all the hills in the area, and he said, "Hey, this guidebook tells you all these nice flat trails to bike on," and that's how I first heard about it. And so when the position opened up at RTC here a couple of years later, I jumped on it. It was a great thing to kind of put a thing I believed in my day-to-day life and actually work for it.
So, okay, I love the story behind what you did, because that's what we should do. We should, jump into things that we have passion for, and getting paid is a nice side benefit.
It is,
Well,
yes.
everybody with a check knows that doesn't make you happy. It's what you're doing
To get that
that
check,
makes you happy, and the
Yeah.
check is the sideline afterwards.
You have to have passion for what you do, and I'm very fortunate to work for an organization that the mission is just so important and so fun and vital.
So, okay, with Rails to Trails, then, a lot of the listeners that heard about this said, what a fabulous idea. What happens if, trains come back? I mean, we've had all kinds of listeners with all kinds of questions. So can you kind of go over the philosophy of this for our listeners so they understand better?
Right. Well, let's address the first thing you said. What happens if trails come back? In a lot of cases, there are trails that have been made, and I'm going to get a little DC wonky politics on you, but it's a law called rail banking. And it's an option that when a railroad is looking at a line and the line is no longer viable, economically for them, and they decide that they no longer want that chunk of rail corridor, they can do something called, or they say that they're going to abandon this line, and people who are interested in the trail can do this thing called rail banking, which is essentially preserving the corridor intact so that A, it can be used for a trail while the rail line is no longer using the line, and B, if the rail line should come back into service, that rail line can, or rather that corridor can be reinstituted as a rail. We also have things called rail with trails, and because these rail corridors are quite long, they'll be quite wide. It'll be along an active rail corridor, and the trail is beside it, and they're separated by a fence or some sort of safety precaution. So there are a lot of things in place that aren't necessarily, we are not in any way, shape, or form out to take away the railroad. It's very much that we're preserving this for the future use.
And if the rail needs it back, then they get to take it back. So it sounds like it's a win-win situation on both ends.
It is. It's definitely, these are public corridors, and they used to, when the railroad first was laid down, these connected communities. People across the country had this ribbon of lifeline through the through the railroad, and the trail's just continuing that. And in many cases, revitalizing communities that after the railroad left fell into, kind of economic downtimes. The trail, there's a great example in Missouri, the Katy Trail. It's 225 miles long, and the communities along that trail have just thrived since the trail's been there with, B&Bs and bike rentals and tourism. It's been an absolute boon to the economy.
Now, is there a place on your site that shows all the location of all these trails and how to access them?
There is, yeah. You go to our website. That's www.railstotrails.org. And you can find that it's on the top right corner of our website. It says Find a Trail, and you can search for trails by state. You can actually go even deeper if you like and search by use. Say you only want to find trails that you can ride your horse on, or that are all paved, so you can use a bike or a wheelchair or something like that. You can search for them in a lot of manners.
Now, does it cost anything to use these trails, or do you need to reserve when you go, say you want to go to California and go on a trail? Do you need to reserve it for a certain time or call in ahead of time for that?
No. For the most part, some trails, and it's kind of a handful across the country, sometimes when they're maintained by National Park Service or something like that, but that's not even always the case. Some trails do charge a user fee, but there's no worry about reservation. Almost all trails are open dusk till dawn, and they're truly open for everybody.
How wonderful. I had not heard about this until this last show.
It's pretty
And,
cool, eh?
I mean, it is.
Oh, Canadian, eh?
Now, Jennifer, we would like to invite you to come back on more regularly on Healthy, Wealthy, Wow, and maybe you could tell us some of the stories. I heard from a publicist or someone that you've got stories of people and towns with the whole process of getting their trail renovated. Is that right?
That is true, yeah. I mean, I'm the editor of the magazine, so I have the lucky privilege of being able to talk to a lot of these towns across the country and getting their personal stories of how they have built their trail.
So, I mean, if you'd be willing to, after we only have a minute or so left, and so tell us all you can in those 2 minutes. But after we're done with it, please let Brent, our engineer, get your personal email, or actually, I think I have it, and we'd like to book you to come on to tell us more because we had such a response. People obviously didn't know about this. They're looking for something to do with their kids or their families, and maybe they want to help fund this, right? Are there opportunities to help make more rails to trails?
There are, well, one, I'd be happy to come on and tell more rail trail stories, definitely. And yes, you can become a member of Rails to Trails Conservancy. It's $18 a year, and for that you get the magazine and membership benefits and that sort of thing. But those $18 a year and more, if you're interested, they go to supporting Rails to Trails Conservancy. And what we do is, we're community educators. We provide technical assistance and guide communities through the trail building process. And we're also the voice of the national movement, on Capitol Hill, because the number one source of trail funding does come through our transportation bill. And so we're the voice of rail trails there. We have 100,000 members nationwide, and so 100,001, 2, 3, 4. Anybody who wants to come on board and support rail trails, we are definitely happy to have them.
Well, we would love to do that. And I'm going to go online today, Rails to Trails, and that's a T-O, not a numeral, to trails.org, and go on and pay my $18 and get your newsletter that is obviously going to be well written and fun.
Thank you.
If she says in it, I want to hear eh. All right, Jennifer, this is Jennifer again, and tell us how to say your last name.
Sure, it's Kaliba.
Kaliba. Oh, you were right. Jennifer Kaliba. And again, she's the Director of Communication for Rails to Trails Conservancy. You heard about it here on Healthy, Wealthy, Wow. Go check out their website, donate to them, and we promise we will bring her back at her convenience.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You have a good day.
All right, thank you. All right, this is Healthy, Wealthy, Wow. You're listening to Kim and Susan. We'll be right back after this brief commercial break.
Good day, and thank you for listening to Grapevine Radio. I am Susan Duffield, your hostess of Awake, Living with Purpose and Passion, a program designed to share tools and concepts for living a purposeful life you love. Join me every Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for tools you can use to create a more meaningful life. Awake, Living with Purpose and Passion on Grapevine Radio. Log on and listen. Smart shopping begins at clubco.com. Stop worrying about gas prices and dragging your family around town. Get top name brand products at everyday prices. Clubco.com, a membership that pays.
Welcome back to Healthy, Wealthy, Wow. What women want, health, wealth, and wow. And we are ready for our Wow Living segment. This is kind of a healthy living segment too. And this is something, being that I popped into my 40s recently. And I noticed, that all of a sudden I had these little lines that I didn't have before.
Well, as soon as I hit 40, I'll let you know if those lines show up for me too.
Okay, you got me. Well, that's the thing. My son said in front of a very large group of people the other day, Mom, you're 42, right? And I said, no, I'm 39. My 10-year-old pipes and says, no, she's 42. We missed her. Remember, we missed the 42nd birthday and her 41st birthday and her 40th birthday, and she's really mad about that. So for her 45th, we're going to do a big thing. Mom, do you want to celebrate your 45th birthday early?
They didn't.
Yeah, in front of all these people, and I've been lying to them saying I was 38.
Okay, I've always told my kids I'm 21. And you know what's sad is when you have your 21st anniversary of your 21st birthday.
Yeah.
You just can't. Or when your daughter is turning 21 and you no longer can claim because she's getting older than you are now.
Yeah, exactly. And she's having her 23rd. And well, it's a funny thing about women, but across the board, I'd say most women, not all women, but most women do start to care about the fact that they might be looking like they're aging a little. And some of us age more rapidly and less rapidly. Met a lovely woman the other day who was probably looked like she was 30 and was 60. I wanted to be her child.
You're kidding, because I think part of the problem is we watch these commercials for these anti-wrinkle and anti-aging, and they have 20-year-olds doing the commercials.
I know, so you don't believe them.
So I don't understand why a 21-year-old is trying to sell a wrinkle cream when she doesn't know what a wrinkle is yet.
Yes, this is why advertising is not working anymore, because women are the consumer group. We know when people are trying to what if I have a solution for you that I think possibly could work?
I think I'm ready to hear it.
Okay, this is a beautiful book called The Beautiful Skin Workout, 8 Weeks to the Smoothest, Healthiest Skin of Your Life. This book was written by Dr. Michelle Copeland. She's a graduate of Harvard and a diplomat of the American Board of Plastic Surgery.
Oh, she can definitely help me.
Yeah, okay. An assistant professor of clinical surgery at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine. We've all heard of that. The creator of Dr. Michelle Copeland's Skincare. She's authored numerous scientific articles, so she knows what she's talking about. Her book, Change Your Looks, Change Your Life, set a new standard in bringing factual information about cosmetic surgery to the public. And I'm so excited to have her on the show today because I'm at that age where I'm thinking I would like to do something. I'd like to know what to do. My skin isn't as firm or smooth or whatever. I got some acne recently that my 13-year-old daughter was getting, and I need some help. So maybe she could help us.
I'm hoping that Dr. Copeland can help us.
All right, I believe she's with us here now, not live in the studio. She's calling us, I believe, from New York City today. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, welcome.
Hello, Dr. Copeland.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks.
Well, can you help us, please?
I think I can. You know, I'm a plastic surgeon with a busy clientele of celebrities and from people all over the world, and people come wanting to look better and feel better. And the reason why I wrote the book, The Beautiful Skin Workout, is because as a plastic surgeon, it isn't enough for me to pull the skin tight if it's leathery. And so having soft, supple skin is something that not only makes you look better, but it also makes good health sense, because smooth skin is healthy skin.
Well, and Dr. Copeland, is there simple solutions too? Because some women out there don't want to go as drastic as having a facelift or tightening up and doing all those. Are there some simple forms of making your skin look better and healthier without going to the drastic measures?
Absolutely. And in fact, it isn't enough to come to see me and have me do a procedure if you don't take care of your skin every day. And that's what the Beautiful Skin Workout is about. It's giving people the tools and the information to take control of their looks, to take control of their health. We know we're living longer and people are exercising and eating right, and all of that's good. But we also have to start taking care of our skin, and you can start that at any age. Yeah, I see people in their teenagers that have certain issues with their skin, and people well into their 90s. The nice thing about the skin is that we can make a difference. We can change. Even if we were sun worshipers when we were younger, we can make our skin healthier as we go along.
Okay, I read through the book, and it talks about the simple plan: the cleanse, exfoliate, activate, moisturize, and protect.
Right. There are certain steps to taking care of your skin. I break them out. It's called CAMP, cleanse, exfoliate, activate, moisturize, and protect. So it all begins with cleaning your skin. It sounds like something so basic, but even when we clean our skin, it's possible to, while we're trying to do something good for ourselves, to actually do harm. There's some people that think they have to boil their skin in the shower. Some people think they have to make their skin squeaky clean, and those things can actually harm the skin if you're doing that.
Wow.
Boiling my face was never a thought I had.
Well, you know, in the book I give some real-life experiences of some of my patients, things that they grappled with in terms of how to get to creamy skin, and there are sections of it that where ask the doctor questions you might have with certain issues that I try to be able to answer and direct. And then there's sections of it, there's a section called the 10 Commandments, the 10 Commandments of what you have to do to get to beautiful skin.
So that's in this book here?
Yes, in the book. And there's also a glossary. So when people have questions like, what does SPF mean? What does sunblock mean? Or the difference between sunscreens? It goes into that, and it gives people the tools to look. There's so much skincare out there, and how do you know what's the right thing? Does it make sense to buy a bottle of cream that costs several $100s, or is something over the counter just as good? I give you that information, how to choose your skincare wisely.
Now, one thing we do on the show, Dr. Copeland, is your publisher's given us a free copy of your book, and we give that out to one of our listeners, and we like them to read it and then have you back on to talk about whether or not they thought it was good advice.
Oh, great.
So if you would join us again. Now, okay, So we'll do that. So go ahead and give us a call, 866-377-1737 for your copy of the book, and you'll need to come back on the show with Dr. Copeland and the rest of us. Dr. Copeland, tell us about, aside from this book, not aside from this, in this book, does it talk about the options? I have a little wrinkle around my lips, like smile wrinkles.
It's very small.
You're very nice. And I have a ton in my forehead. I mean, I had them when I was young, so I have bangs. I have to wear bangs my whole life. Is there something out there that maybe is the first step, or does your book talk about what we could do for little things like that as our first step into the world?
Yes, it does, and it takes you through all different skin types and people of all different ages.
Oh.
So as I said, as early as in your 20s, you're starting. The aging process is starting. So it's important if we start with some basic steps of caring for our skin, we can make a difference and an impact. Once the wrinkles start, there are actually topical creams that can help relax those lines and wrinkles. Very much like today Botox does with injections, there are topical creams that contain ingredients that can help smooth lines. Then, of course, if we give our skin the nutrition, we know if we eat right, we're going to feel better and be healthier. And it's the same thing with our skin. So the activate step of the steps that I go through in the book has to do with using antioxidants and anti-aging ingredients.
Are there specific foods that would be better to improve the health of our skin?
Absolutely, and I give lists of different foods that you can eat, and some of the things we know very well, but you just need to sort of see it and say, yes, of course, I know that it's bad to eat a lot of MSG or foods that have a lot of processed dyes in it. I know it's bad to fill up on cheeseburgers every day, but but you should know that it's not only bad for the figure, but it's bad for the skin.
So is chocolate a good or a bad? Because as a woman, we tend to crave chocolate, most of us. Is that going to be a negative for our skin, or is that going to be something that within moderation will be fine?
I think the key is moderation, and that's a good point, because we're living, we want to enjoy life, and there are things that give us pleasure, and those things that give us pleasure in life, like some sweetness or chocolates, also make us feel better, and feeling better makes our skin better, even indirectly.
Absolutely.
So
Smile.
I think that we want to just be sensible, and I hope that in the book I give people the tools to be sensible, to listen to their skin, listen to themselves. We know it's important to exercise and eat right, and we feel better, but that doesn't mean we have to be marathon runners. Well, it's the same thing with our skin. Just doing some basic steps, just a little bit, even if it just has to do with cleaning your skin and protecting in the sun, is going to make a difference and an impact in the quality of your skin.
Okay, now, in this book, and this is for listeners, I really would suggest, I don't normally suggest a book right off on the show, but this book, I would suggest you picking up. It is only $14.95 for Pete's sakes. Listen to what she writes here. I hope you don't mind, Dr. Copeland.
No, sure.
You're talking about the 10 Commandments of Creamy Skin that you alluded to earlier, and this is salad days. And you give this dietary list of fruit, green leafy vegetables, herbs and spices, and meat, and then I love this. This is the part I'm loving. She says, I'm sure some of you are reading this dietary list and are about ready to give up. I can never have another French fry. My steak days are over. No and no. We have to live and we have to be sensible. And so she's saying, and by the way, a listener has just called in and said that we have it for $11.66 on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
So
that's
go
great,
listener,
guys.
pick it up. Buy one for me.
That's great. And, speaking of that, on my website, which is mcskin.com, if you use the code RADIO that you heard me on the radio, you will get a discount on the book or any of my skincare products.
Oh, good. Let's send people there. Okay, what is that website?
mcskin.com.
mcskin.com, and we get a good price if we write radio.
Radio.
What if
Put
they write
radio in.
Healthy, Wealthy, Wow in there? Either way, they'll probably know.
Radio would be easier to spell.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, then she says here that if you're looking in the mirror one morning and think that your face is looking a little crepey and sallow, it's probably not the best idea to compound those issues by doing something that would make your skin even drier. But then she says, on the days when your complexion is glowing, snacking on a KFC extra crispy chicken breast sandwich or meeting friends after work for a martini isn't instantly going to send your skin from creamy back to rubber.
Oh, that's so
What a
nice
good
to know.
page.
Well, and it's wonderful to know that everybody has good days and bad days with their skin, and that just because maybe we didn't take care of our skin early, it's not too late to start taking care of it now.
Absolutely not too late. I tell you, one of the funniest stories, I had a woman well into her 90s that came to me who wanted to look better for the holiday season. And we started her on a skincare program and did a little tweaking, and, she was set to go.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay. That is so great that even at age 90, she cares about her appearance.
That's right. Well, we're living longer and we're feeling better, and part of feeling better is how you look, and why not take control and make your skin smoother, healthier. And the other thing is cracked skin, dry skin is more prone to infection. So smooth skin is not only looks better, but it's healthier.
So, Dr. Copeland, we have a few minutes left. Tell us, what made you think to write this book? I mean, I can imagine it's your clients, but do you see, I would think that this would kind of hurt your practice. I mean, if people go to your book and do your suggestions, they can heal at home rather than come to your office and avail.
Oh, not at all. Because, my first book that I wrote, Change Your Looks, Change Your Life, had to do with plastic surgery and all the quick fixes that we could do. And as a plastic surgeon, what I want is for people to look good, and that means taking care of their skin. We brush our teeth every day, and yet we have to go to the dentist for a cleaning. It's the same thing with the skin. So there are things that you can do every day to make yourself better, and then you can come and see me, and there are other things that I'll do. And even in the book, I go through some of the modern new techniques and technologies of things we can do to make ourselves look better. So there's so many choices for people today, and there isn't one right way. But the good news is that everybody can take control and make themselves better.
I would love very much to offline get your email, and if Dr. Copeland, if you're willing to do this, how would you feel about coming on every so often, giving us some tips from your book live on the radio with us?
Well, I would love to do that. It's always a pleasure to reach out to people beyond, my Fifth Avenue office, and to give them the information they need to help themselves.
Well, and you know what? Those of us listening all across the nation and in 52 countries across the world, we would love to have a moment of a Fifth Avenue doctor's time every so often, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. A whole bunch of us can't afford to come into those offices, so we'd love to have those comments made to us.
So buy her book. I would suggest it. Please, I think we've got a winner already, or we've got someone calling in with winning this book. And if we could have your email offline, we will set that next interview up. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. I'm excited about this. This is how much was it again on the
$11.66.
Okay, $11.66, and in 8 weeks, have the smoothest, sexiest, prettiest, creamiest skin of your life.
I'm ready to do it, and to think that it's $11.66 rather than $2,500.
Okay, we have a listener who just said it's on Clubco for $9.87. Buy it on Clubco. Call us if you want a membership number. If you don't have a membership to Clubco, it's Sue. You don't have one yet.
I will be signing up today for my membership.
So you can get your book. So
I will get my book today at Clubco.
We wish we could have bought our tickets to Europe on Clubco. Wouldn't that be nice to get cash back?
Well, not only that, I hate to tell you, I looked online what the tickets price were, and they went down $70 today. So we overpaid for ours, but that's okay because we're going, and it's all going to be made up some other way.
Okay. All right.
Okay. We're good.
Now that I'm depressed. Okay. We are going to call, we're going to prank call Sue's husband. It's his birthday. This is Mike. Tell us a little bit how he is on prank calls. Do you know?
He's not very good on prank phone calls.
We're gonna see.
Remember, he's more the mild-mannered one.
Okay, we're going to see what he does when we call
And for
him.
all of you out there, Kim just loves to prank phone calls people. So just always watch your phone. Look at your caller ID when it comes across, because I'm telling you,
it's ruined it for me.
I love caller ID. I don't know if anyone else out there does. It's like you can look at it. If it's someone you don't want to talk to, you can just let it ring through.
Could you humor me and just, let me play my prank anyway?
All right.
I tried today,
next time.
And she was like, it's you, Kim.
But
don't even try.
Kim, I did have a question about the plastic surgeon. You said we brush our teeth every day and then we go to the dentist twice a year for cleanings. Does that mean we should take care of our skin every day and then go see a plastic surgeon twice a year? I didn't know if that was maybe an option. I thought that was pretty good.
I think that's what she was implying.
I got that.
Oh, that's fun. Now,
have we got Mike on the phone yet?
Okay, he'll let us know when he's ready.
Okay.
All right. In the meantime, let's talk about Clubco a little. we just said it was $9.87 if we bought it on Clubco. You need a referral membership at Grapevine Talk Radio Network, and Clubco have partnered up. If you go to clubco.com and go to the Talk and Deal site, you can hear our shopping show, which is tomorrow at noon, the shopping show.
Security, sound communication.
That's his answering
Please leave
machine.
a message and I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Thanks and have a great day.
Wait for the beep.
To leave a callback number,
Oh,
press 5.
gee.
Don't
Now,
you hate this? I hate this. Okay.
hi, honey. We're live on the air, and we wanted, Kim and I, to wish you a happy birthday. We wished you had picked up the phone so we could have prank phone called you, but no such luck. So nationally,
Happy birthday!
Everybody's hearing this right now. Happy birthday, honey.
All right. Well, that wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be.
Well, he might have not known what the number was,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so he doesn't pick up phone calls if he doesn't know who's calling him.
Very smart man, probably. No one, if people don't answer their phones, how are we supposed to prank them?
And then there's caller ID. Your whole thing is gone, Kim. You've got to have to go on to some other kind of
When I was a
trickster
kid,
mode.
I would call people and say, is your refrigerator running? And they'd say, yes, let me check. People fell for all kinds of things then.
Well, but now with caller ID, you can't do that because people see if you call the same person 2 or 3 times making the same prank phone call, they can call you back.
That's right. #7 or something like that.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just,
*7.
it's not fun. When we were kids, it was a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's, and that's a safe thing. I never, did drugs or drank or did anything crazy, but I made prank calls and went toilet papering, which.
Okay, I still have a bad habit of hiding in dark rooms and jumping out at people to scare them. My daughter Erica just hates it, but it's so funny because she did it to all her roommates at college.
So
the
she
habit,
caught her mom's habit,
She
yeah.
caught my habit. I just love scaring people in dark rooms.
My good friend John Jacob, inevitably a week or two will go by and he will inevitably come up behind me and just grab me and scare me from behind, just like my shoulders. And I will shoot out of my chair, injure something.
But do you know how
he
much
does it every
joy
time.
he's getting?
He loves it.
Yeah, it's like an adrenaline rush to know you got someone to do that.
Well, that's how I feel about prank calling.
I know.
And so it's the same thing. All right. Well, okay. So no prank call, but happy birthday to Mike. And 45, right?
45.
My goodness, we're getting old. All right. Now let's talk about Clubco. We have a few minutes left now. Sue, you don't know about Clubco, but what it is, it's an online shopping portal. We've partnered with them. And through a membership number, not only do you get great online prices, right, at your favorite stores, Nordstrom's, Walmart, Target.
So do you shop their websites and then
your
put
membership?
in...
Well, you actually go through the Clubco site, you click on partner stores, and then you have your number. Your number takes you to their sites. That tracks it, and guess what? You can go to Nordstrom, get things on great sales. 1% goes to your favorite charity and charities, and you get 2% cash back.
Okay, I just bought something today, and I'm just regretting it already.
Take it back, and then go buy it online.
I ordered it online. See, this would be perfect for me. I will be signing up today.
It's really a fabulous opportunity to give to your favorite causes. You're a mom. How many times have you cut box tops or given to PT or bought those coupon books? They're horrible, right?
Absolutely. Clipping out of newspapers.
Oh, it's just like you try to raise funds for people and it always costs you money. I bought a bunch of tubs of cookie dough for some high school kids and I never will use it. It's full of trans fats. It's disgusting. But I bought it, helped their cause. Well, wouldn't I rather just buy what I'm normally buying, buy it online, and have that money go right to their charity?
Well, not only that, if you'd just given them $5, the charity would have been given more.
Yes.
Because usually those charities give such a small percentage that it's not really adding up. So
But they're trying to
absolutely.
get people to buy. So, we consume. Do you go shopping? I called you last Saturday. You were on your way shopping.
Oh, I shop every day at work.
Okay. So now you're going to shop online. You're going to save money for your family. You're going to get a check back every month because you're going to get 2% back on every purchase from any store that you choose to shop on through the Clubco membership. And 1% will go to charity, and you're going to be paying less or the same that you were paying on the stores.
What a great idea.
I know. And Grapevine Talk Radio is bringing it to the world. We're launching it July 7th with Clubco, and the whole world will now be able to do that. But for now, it's just the select few who are listeners.
And
you
guys, sign up right away.
Yeah, so give us a call at healthywealthywow.com. You can shop for abundance. You can click on the icon and find out how to shop with us for abundance, and it's great.
Is there going to be any way for people to share their Shopco stories with Healthy Wealthy Wow so we can maybe
what a great idea,
kind of follow it up and let people know what percentages they felt like they saved and what good experience they had shopping there?
Well, that's a great idea. On the Friday show, you can call in, and if you call into the Friday show at noon, we're on noon Mountain Time, and say, I saved this much, the best. We'll throw all those stories into a hat. The one that has the best story will get a $50 free shopping spree on Clubco.
Oh, what a great thing.
Call in on Friday.
I'm calling in Friday.
So, I mean, it's really fun. So there's that. And we should, Sue, you're right. We should start a blog because I have spent $325. I have saved $170, and I got a $98 check back.
I'm stunned.
I know. It's fabulous. So we can't beat that. All right. Sue Brown Morgan today hosting. I hope this will be the first of many, many times.
Call in, request me, guys.
Request Sue. You're listening to Healthy, Wealthy, Wow on the Grapevine Talk Radio. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, shopping show tomorrow at noon. And otherwise, let's go out and have a wow day.